ARK grinding to be a thing of the past. What happened to Primitive Ascended? And is ARK's performance update really going to make a difference? You're right, kids, it's Raasclark and welcome to your regular ARK community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So Community Crunch 242 dropped to us announcing a brand new addition to ARK. Certainly a game-changing one at that, arriving with the Steampunk Bob's DLC slash Bob's Tall Tales 2, part of the DLC that's offering content for, of course, Scorched Earth we've already got, now Aberration and Extinction in the future. With us knowing a lot of steampunk features are along the way, along with the Cosmos we talked about a few weeks ago, but we got our first look at SIR 5RM8 or Survivor Mate, and a very perhaps game-changing feature to the official integration base of ARK. This thing will be in the main game, though you're going to have to pay for it if you haven't already. And whilst there's certainly some things to say about this one being an additional DLC on top, though part of the package price of the 3 pieces of content for the 3 maps, gotta say, at least for content creation, this is certainly a big win. Something that, in Wildcard's words, will allow this marvel of mechanical engineering to do those unpleasant domestic chores for you, from repairing structures, gathering resources, and sorting provisions, allowing to organize your loot for you. 3 major factors, that first one especially being certainly a game-changing feature, allowing all your structures to be repaired. Could this be a big thing for PvP? Imagine somebody raiding your base as this thing's going around repairing anything that's being touched, making bases possibly invincible. But I imagine there might be some sort of cooldown. I'm sure they've got to appreciate some sort of balance for that end of ARK, though a good thing nonetheless. And well, farming resources is certainly something I'm sure they've gained inspiration from recent survival games such as Power World. The popularity of that alone, things in your base able to do the work for you. Everybody loves to get those more menial tasks out the way while something else does it for you. But will it take away the foundations of ARK? Steampunk's certainly been a fan-favoured theme to ARK over the years, with some glorious mods being made in the past. Though I'm concerned with this automation. The grind of ARK is such an integral moment in a survivor's journey. Taking that away, is that a bad thing or a good thing? I can say very selfishly, at the very least for me, this takes out a lot of the work. With this serving you metal ingot, seems to have an integrated forge with its furnace belly, and I really look forward to seeing exactly how this is going to function, operate, be mobile within your base, able to sort things, manage things. You OCD people out there, there's many of you out there that need to have your saddles and your structures in separate vaults and etc. I see a lot of positive effects from this being a part of ARK. Noticing in this image created, I'm guessing, by the talented Mr. Fuego once again, we can also see what seems to be a structure skin set in the background. Could this be something offered with the Steampunk DLC on top? I'm guessing so, along with a Steampunk Survivor skin. What seems to be possibly an egg incubator there right at the back behind the Survivor Mate. Could the automation be beyond these 3 elements Wildcard have mentioned so far? Though it did offer perhaps a little bit of confusion with the number 2 there, believing some people to think, hang on a minute, is this a second DLC on top of the Steampunk DLC, on top of the Bob's Tall Tales? Have we got to pay for this one on top? No, it was responded by community manager Dolly that it is part of the 3-chapter expansion pass, so don't expect to be paying any more for this. But it is still a paid feature. Will we be seeing more arguments surrounding this thing being pay to win? I'm kind of for this one this time around, just thinking of how much it's going to benefit me. But nevertheless, this is something I think a lot of people are certainly going to be wanting in their base, and PvP remains to be seen how this could either be a big positive or very game breaking for when it arrives. Sadly, no mention on these blimps yet. We assume they're still coming with the Steampunk DLC, and no word on this FSR 3.1 frame generation plus Unreal 5.4 update that the devs are hoping to get out with Aberration. And I'm guessing in light of that, probably may not arrive with this, and maybe we'll see it sometime after. But I've got to be honest, and I'm sure there's many of you out there, what does this exactly mean? I've been thinking for a hot minute. Does this really mean a huge improvement to ARK, or are we setting the bar perhaps a bit too high with everyone believing this is going to fix ARK for everybody and everybody is going to be able to run ARK absolutely fine? Well, I got a bit of research looking on videos, and there's one here from Vex. I'll leave a link to this in the description, as it really does summarize exactly what FSR 3.1 does for us, and that is one element of the two halves of this performance update. With this particular update vastly improving ghosting and upscaling for graphics cards that aren't 40 series cards. Apparently, it turns out a lot of the features that were under the hood for ARK when it arrived were only able to be done, and still kind of are only able to be done, on 40 series graphics cards, and these new features will open it out to every graphics card available. So that does mean PlayStation and Xbox 2, that glitchy fuzziness around the characters that you see, the horrible motion weird ghost clouds that you see in the sky, could all be a thing of the past, and you could certainly see a much smoother gameplay experience when this feature rolls out. With it already proving to be a massive benefit for a wealth of games out there at the moment, it's just a matter of time on when Wildcard can implement this, and fingers crossed, you know, it still is on track for Aberration, though seeing that they haven't said anything, I definitely take a stab in the dark. We're going to expect this at some point later, and it seems that they want to roll this out at the same time as the Unreal Engine 5.4 update 2, which also seems to have some improvements under the hood there. Digital Foundry did a spotlight, and I'll leave a link to this too in the description, showing a comparison between 5 and 5.4, and as you can see, a very notable difference there in how shaders are handled. So overall, certainly feels like all of these additions are not only going to benefit the best possible visuals you can get on ARK right now, but also help to run it for much lower end graphics cards, aka console players too. Along with this 5.4 update, there's a bunch of new features being rolled out for people who are making mods for ARK, including in editor, animation and rigging especially. I hear this is going to be a lot easier to manage, as well as a bunch of new features from modular control, rigging, skeleton editing, VR scouting, motion design, all to improve productivity and visual fidelity. Which leads us on to Primitive Ascended, later renamed the Medieval Mod, I think it's called right now. Something we showcased a few months ago, and certainly one I'm really excited for. It was originally planned for July, I believe, or maybe August, and hasn't appeared yet. Well, Blitzfire, the owner of this, let's say, Prim Plus for Ascended mod, shared a few new screenshots of it being in-game, running in-game, with new structures to show off, and a new look at the Goblin NPCs. Will be hopefully recruiting for, I guess so, automation for this mod as well. But sadly did notify a few weeks back that as a result of this 5.4 update, we'll be pushing it back until after that's dropped. It does seem that it's going to benefit a lot of people out there, so if it's going to improve the mod, it's certainly worth waiting until after this update. Either way, whenever that happens, we'll finally get our hands on this eagerly anticipated mod. Speaking of mods, there was another mod showcase from Wildcard. Always love to see these, keep them coming. Can't believe we're getting to play as Pinocchio in ARK. Definitely touching that cloth without a doubt. Some very interesting ideas in cosmetics this time around. A shout out to Aaron and his Western decor skins. Great to see. YA Pets looking great there. And a new premium mod, ARK Primal Nemesis, a new overhaul mod that's got some very wild and wacky giant bosses to defeat. Might tuck myself into this one, hopefully, if there's time before Aberration drops. And if it tickles your fancy and you're on PlayStation or Xbox, you'll find PixARK is now available at the low price of $9.99, though I've never heard anything too great about this. Maybe it's time to check it out for myself and see what this Minecraft clone is really all about. As well as Atlas on Xbox. I'm kind of curious how it runs on Xbox, and to be honest, I had a great time on this, and I definitely encourage you to go and check it out if you want to pony up $9.99. I had a lot of fun with this. I'm sure you will do too. And ARK Park, the VR journey on PlayStation, something I actually own. I've never played, and although I've not heard some great things about this, maybe it's time to check this one out too myself. Let me know if you want me to and drop a comment below. And that's your lot. Grinding no longer a thing in ARK. PvPers, raiding bases no longer for you, as they're going to be automatically repaired as they go on. I'm sure there'll be a cooldown. I'm not too worried about this. Is this one seen as pay to win by many of you out there? I don't know. I'm okay about this one. I think the Tall Tales expansion pack that covers the 3 maps that helps support the funding of ARK, I'm certainly down for, rather than things like the Pyro main. And as I said before, selfishly, this is going to be a major game changer for ARK creation, ARK content creation at the very least. And I'm single player players out there and PvE players, without a doubt, you're going to love this. Can't wait to see more of this. And Sir Edmund Rockwell will be seeing you soon, September the 4th. It's not too far away. Hopefully we get to see some more features next weekend in the Community Crunch then. Until the next one, my name is Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, peace out.